So, in the previous slide, we provided some arguments that the entire world is dealing with turmoil as we speak. It's not just Pakistan that's in the news headlines. There are nearly every other country has got some issues that they're dealing with, internal issues or global issues. And there is wars everywhere. There's economic challenges everywhere. There's global climate change. There's ethnic violence. There are all kinds of issues going on with the world. And we made a case. We made a statement that Pakistan has got an opportunity to break away from the pack by just doing a few things right. So let's figure out what is it that Pakistan can do. But before we even get to it, let's try to figure out why is this team, why are we so bullish about what the opportunities for Pakistan are. Let's try to see what's good for Pakistan, what's going in Pakistan's interest. It's a young population. Country may be 75 years old, but the median age of the population is 21 years. That's a very young population compared to the rest of the developed countries. And the separate presentation that we're working on, they'll give you the comparison between Pakistan and most of the Western countries. Let's keep going. There's a strong and very supportive diaspora that can with some guidance, with some standardization of the resources, they can really come forward, come together, and make a few things for Pakistan, make a few things go well for Pakistan. I'm very willing to to support any effort, any initiative, as long as they see that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. So we're really hoping that with this series of presentations, we'll be able to galvanize them, channelize them, and bring them all on the same platform. Very smart, very enterprising people throw any challenge at Pakistanis and they are likely to be able to come up with a solution. Willingness to take charge of their lives. One big example of this is that I can take from my personal life is if you remember back about 15 years ago, 17 years ago when Katrina hurricane hit New Orleans in the United States. You might remember seeing the pictures when people are standing at the rooftop waiting for the help to arrive, waiting for a boat to arrive so they could be taken to safety or a helicopter to arrive and throw down the rope. They were waiting for the help to arrive, and unfortunately for many of them, the help never arrived. That was August of 2005. 3 months later, there was a massive earthquake in northern parts of Pakistan. And I have heard directly from the team that was out there deployed over there, and they came back with a report that the moment the movement, the tremor stopped, people just got up, looked around, tried to see who needed help, and got on with it. Nobody was sitting there waiting for the government intervention or for some help to arrive by external methods. People just got up, took charge of what they needed to do, and started the whole recovery process. Um, Perseverance, perhaps, but there's really a lot to big, huge statement about the mindset of Pakistanis. They want to get things done. The next point is diversification of skills in every area, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, whether it's working with your hands, tinkering with objects, dealing with technology, learning a new skill. We could really fast track our growth, our development. We really have the mental capacity and the physical strength to make things happen. And we already have shown in many areas we are running some of the leading hospitals. We are leading some of the leading research facilities. The idea would be to take those successful models and build more upon that and multiply that, right? So if you've done well in certain areas, why not expand the model? Why not grow in other areas as well? That's what this whole series of presentation is about, to take the success and try to globalize that. And then there's strong history of success in many other areas where we used to do well. We used to do really well, but over time, maybe some lack of focus, lack of concentration, lack of resources, we allowed the strengths to be taken away. If you remember back in the 70s and 80s, Pakistan was the largest country in the world that provided sporting goods. There was a time in probably 96 or 92 when 80% of the soccer balls were made in Pakistan. Surgical equipment was another huge area. Textile was a huge area. And just in the last 20, 25 years, many countries have leapfrogged ahead of Pakistan and we have they've left us behind. So we had a strong past, strong history of success in many areas. Let's try to figure out what does it take for us to get back and and reclaim some of the strengths we had in those areas. We are a large landmass with a very fertile land. Again, we're looking for the arguments here that makes bullish about the possibilities for Pakistan. So point number 8 here is it's a large country and with a very fertile land. Let's try to figure out the best practices of what we could do, how we could channelize, how we could put all of these resources to the right use for us. Let's keep going. Access to a deep sea port. If you look at the geography of the area of the Southeast Asian area, you would see that between the European neighbors and between the East Asia, Pakistan provides a deep sea port in Gwadar that can have a tremendous geopolitical benefit for us. Which brings us to the next point, geopolitical strength. The roadways through Pakistan that connects the south, the deep sea port with China, with Russia, and the other areas within the region. Again, Pakistan could play a huge part in that if things were right, if the law and order situation is resolved, if political stability is achieved. Lots of things are possible. And finally, we have a large population, 220, 230 million people by some estimate, growing exponentially. Yes, an argument could be made plus or minus about the population growth rate. But the point of this is if you're counting really the benefits of what we've got going on for Pakistan, couple this with the young population, we could see that large, massive workforce ready to get channelized, ready to put the resources to work. Let's give them something to work on. Stay with us. Let's go through some of the possibilities that are ahead of us. Let's keep going.